Just a few. Which engineering firm?
This is Hutchinson Moore Ralph.
Okay.
They do a lot of parks. That's the reason I called them.
You said, and I think I heard you correctly, it's a sketch plan.
Yes.
Correct. It's a concept.
Yes, that's
Correct.
basically all it
And
is.
it's not tied to any particular site.
They do ask for site-specific information. Now, whether that can be changed after the pre-application, I don't know. I think they just do that to get a vicinity.
So, I mean, is there a problem if we were to submit this and instead of the wording, a site on Morris Hill, resources at a site to be determined in the city limits of Semmes?
I think that it would be, once the pre-application is approved and you get into the application, they're gonna ask for more site-specific things.
But we could get through the initial with that,
Yes.
saying a site to be determined.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, another question. Let's see. The sketch design that you spent a lot of work on, and the engineering people spent a lot of work on, would it, have you looked at any of our other properties to see if it would work there, or did you zero in only on the one on Morris Hill?
I did not look at any other facilities. I did not.
Okay. In your
This is kinda out of
opinion,
my,
in your opinion, I mean, you're pretty familiar with it, you drive around all day. Would any other properties be large enough to accommodate?
be large enough. I think the Snow Road property that's 10 acres. I mean, that's huge. That property, the property across the street's huge, but I guess my opinion on that is if you put this is a smaller park, if you put something small in a big area, it's gonna make it look, not as big. So it kind of fits good in that area. And my opinion, everybody's got their own opinions, but my opinion is that this is gonna be a police and fire jurisdiction thing. We can't just look at the city limits, because there's not a lot of kids in the city limits. But if you look, I think just one road over, Silver Pine, that's supposedly, when they get finished, a 900 house subdivision. I mean, if we don't think that thing's gonna be used all the time, we're crazy.
But wouldn't you also say that, considering Morris Hill's location at the edge of the city limits, wouldn't you say that there's certainly a strong possibility that individuals using the water park could just as easily turn right on Schillinger as left and go down and use those restaurants and services and facilities just as easily as they would in Semmes, correct?
Yeah, well, I guess unless they live in Semmes and they're,
But if you were on, for example, if you were on Snow Road and you turn left, right, go up or down, you're still in Semmes.
Right.
So you possibly might be more likely to spend money there.
Right. Could be. Could be.
Thanks.
I don't want to get involved in where the location is. I just want
Yeah.
to. My research was on the actual park,
Yeah.
so that's.
And you've done a good job. Thanks.
Jason, we appreciate your very good presentation, and you've given us a lot of details that we didn't have before. Before I forget it, in the previous meeting, Councilman Baker asked about a fence, and I believe you all said you were okay, we better put a fence in there. Have you priced that in yet?
We did not put a price on the fence yet. That's something that the way we have over 130,000 budgeted on parks in general, and we have, I think, over $5,000 budgeted for that property, which it's really the fire station property. So we have money in that budget to do that. Although I think that this is going to be plenty of money to build a fence. I mean, really, I don't know what the exacts are on an aluminum fence. I know it's a little bit more expensive than a privacy fence, but I think we could do a decorative fence across the front of that, and then maybe board fence around the rest of it. But one side is already fenced, so it'll be less than to worry
Well,
about.
as you might appreciate, there's some concern that little children might get out in the brush, the woods or
Yeah.
something, and.
Right. I agree.
Or something might come out of it. So there's a lot of concern for safety in that area, and it looks like a lot of fence. To be a real fence, not just a decorative one, but something that really keeps things in and out. So
Right.
that would be a concern, and should be expected to be a fairly significant price item. Do you have a handout for all these details?
I was reading off the actual application, so
What's that?
I was reading off the actual application that I've got put together. I'm just waiting on the resolution, but I could make copies of this.
Well, that'd be very helpful, because see, all we've had so far is this, which is, it doesn't have the details in it, and that's what we're concerned about. If we're signing a check, we'd like it not to be a blank check, we'd like to have, you know, what we're talking about. So your details that you've given to us are very helpful. If we had a copy of that, it would certainly give us something to.
If Judy wants me to, I'll make copies of it next door and bring them to you, or
We'll see if
email
there's
to
a
you.
need. If it's not passed, there's no need.
Right.
Okay, Mr. Webb?
I had 3 questions, very complicated. Now, what's the diameter of the pad, splash pad?
It's, I don't know what the exact diameter, because it's kind of oblong shaped, but it's 1,350 square feet.
I
So,
thought it might have been a circular.
no, it's kind of, I got a rendering.
That's okay.
Hang on just a second.
It's in your, Mr. Webb, it's in your packet.
The
It's kind of
diameter,
oblong.
No, I mean the shape of it. It's
oh, yeah.
not a round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
That's okay.
but it's 1,350 square feet. So
Is it the police badge shape?
Huh, it's the one on the top.
Yeah, it's like the top of the police badge,
Yeah.
sort of.
yeah, kidney shape, something like that.
So
Like the one in front.
The sewer, isn't there a possibility of the other businesses on Morris Hill Road hooking to that sewer line, and they could,
Yes. Yeah, and we're going to present that.
that
to
would cut the price considerably.
We're going to schedule a meeting with malls and see if we can't get them to help do some donating on that, because they will have several commercial businesses that could tie in. So they may be willing to help out in that aspect. That would save us a lot of money if they did.
Okay, and one more. The restroom, is there gonna be room enough in there for a child to change clothes if that's what they,
Yeah, we plan on building something it'd be like,
get some size to
it'd be
it?
one women's and one men's, but it'd be, you'd have enough room to, have plenty of room to change, maybe even a curtain with a changing area.
That's all I had, ma'am.
Okay. Ms. Franson?
No comment.
Mr. Shiring?
No comment, no question.
Oh, I have one more, I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
This filtering system is not figured in that,
It's not, I did look into that system, well, it's very expensive. I know the one that there's a splash pad, I talked to the city engineer in Summerdale, and theirs cost over $1 million for just their little splash pad part, but they do have that. It regenerates, and he said there's a lot of maintenance involved in that as well.
right now, there's one on the splash pad off of Cody Road. They have a filtering system there.
No, sir, they
it's sand.
just use water, straight water from Moss. They don't filter it and replenish
Sand
it.
trap is for going into the sewer system.
Do what now?
Sand trap was required by Mars before we go out
That's
to the
what I was
sewer
told
system.
by the,
Yes,
Mobile
there is a
Parks
sand
and-
trap there, but there is not a
I guess
filter
they lied about
regenerating
it.
system.
I'm
I can open the system up for you and let you see it.
I'll do some more research, and I'm gonna see if there's any other better ways to do it, but
yeah,
the system that we priced out was $75,000.
I do have another question. Since they're running the sewer, we don't have city water there yet, right?
Yes.
We do, already have city water.
Yes.
you have a pump too, you're not too far away. What is it, 5 horse or
This is a pretty big one across the
10?
street.
Yeah.
That's all right, we're using that on my side of the road. For y'all that don't know, on the opposite side of Morris Hill from where they're presenting this, we own 38 acres, I think, at last count. And about 20 of those are already like mowed, and there's the fish pond and stuff there, but sooner or later, we're gonna open it up for public fishing for everybody. And I'm ready.
You're ready, I know. Well, that and hopefully the disc golf course through the woods will be really a great thing, and that'll appeal to a different demographic and many different age groups actually. I would like to say one thing about the sewer. If we get this and we can put the sewer down the road, that actually helps us move more businesses into that commercial park all the way up and down Morris Hill, because we have water and sewer available. And a lot of companies require sewer. They can't open up their business without sewer. So if we could do that, and that's part of this, which has been it's actually part of the estimate is to run the sewer line. Hopefully, we could get more businesses on that street to open up that require sewer, so. Okay, are there any further comments on any of this?
Question.
From the public?
No, just from us, then we're ready to start on the resolution. Resolution for consideration tonight is authorization for the mayor to make application to the Alabama Department of Economic and Community Affairs for a grant for the construction of a municipal park. This resolution was initially reviewed and discussed in the council special session on Wednesday, January 27th. So we will not need a motion for immediate consideration or to waive the reading. Any further discussion from council? Mr. Baker?
Yes, I would frankly support asking for the grant. I would further ask, though, that we amend the request, the resolution, to say that whereas the city of Semmes proposes to have constructed recreational resources at a site on Morris Hill, I would ask the council to consider at a site within the city limits of the city of Semmes, or sites to be determined. And this would give us some flexibility if we can do that within the flexibility of the grant. And Jason said we could, so I would like to offer that for consideration. I think there's a lot of support for the splash pad, and there's a lot of support for getting a grant or asking for a grant. We may not get it, but I'd like us to keep our options open because our public works division chief said that it will work in another place, and I would like to keep that open as an option. So I just throw that out as for consideration to the council.
Mr. Smith?
Well, to Mr. Baker's point, if it were to be determined and not limited to the city limits, I would certainly support that as an amendment.
Okay, Mr. Webb?
No comment?
Ms. Francie?
I'm in agreement. I don't care where it is, as long as we get this done for the children. I don't care where the site is, just as long as it's done. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Sherman?
I'm also in agreement with his recommended amendment to not specify that particular site, but to see if we can get it. I would say within the police jurisdiction, not necessarily just in the city limits, but because
City.
eventually that's going to be in the city limits anyway.
I'd say
What is there for?
police and fire jurisdiction.
Okay, I do not have a problem with changing the site at all. My only reasoning for going with that site, there were a couple of things. One, it's on a dead-end street, it's no through traffic. I thought that was very important. Number two was next to the fire station. How much safer can you get? You got EMTs next door. That's amazing, that's great. The other is that it would be across the street from the other park and the disc golf park, so it would be more of a nice larger park that would be very diversified in the different age groups and the different activities for different people to do there. So I thought that was important. But I'm not locked in on any one site. But what I would like to do, if I remember correctly, this council went on for about 2 or 3 months just trying to talk about land purchase for potential city hall. Never could agree on anything. So I just see this as another stalling point, in my opinion, because other council members have point blank said there will be no land purchases by the city of Semmes for the rest of this term. So I would like to ask on record, if we're gonna buy more property, or are we not gonna buy more property? Or are we gonna make a decision on where this park is gonna go? Or are we gonna keep these people hanging in limbo for 3 or 4 months? That's my question, because we've already been through this one time. So, Mr. Baker.
Well, I think it gets back to what we said earlier, and my question was to Jason, this is the initial, where'd he go? This is the initial application, correct? And the site doesn't have to be specific, it just has to be, as you say, it's a sketch diagram, it's a concept, and of course, it's assumed that it would be on property that we own, correct?
Yes, I think so, that's the way I believe it.
And I didn't say buy additional property, I said consider other properties that we own, that's all I said. So, and the only other property that we really discussed is Snow Road, and it would fit, so I'm not saying, Mars Hill is out. I'm just saying, let's keep Mars Hill and the other properties that we own all in consideration. And I think from listening to the council, we think it's a good idea in general. But as far as to the exact spot, I don't think we need to decide it yet. I don't think we need to put that in concrete. That's just my thought. But in my opinion, from my perspective, I don't think it boils down to discussing whether we will or will not buy any more property, because I don't think we need to right now. I think we have enough property to consider for this. So that's just where I'm coming from.
Okay. Mr. Smith?
Well, my biggest concern about this was that it's very clear that no market study was made, no market survey was made before that point. It was sort of arbitrarily picked. And we need to check, people need to survey, need to find out really, not what just a few people want, but what does the greater public need. We need to make a true market survey to determine where people would want this service.
Here's your survey right here.
And also, we still have some cost. Like, for example, on this site, we don't have the cost of the additional sheriff service for that. We don't, I was gonna ask you, you talked with the insurance people, and that's great. What did they say about the extra cost? Did they say they would just fold it in and not increase the cost, or did you get a dollar figure from them?
No, I did not get a dollar figure. I was told it would be minimal.
Okay.
That the biggest thing was not to get into the swimming pool park.
Okay.
That's where our costs would astronomically go up. What are you talking about on the sheriff's department?
Well, we certainly would want to ask them to patrol that area.
They do already. That's in our city limits.
Yeah, I know it's in our city limits, but in terms of efficiency, that's a dead run down to a dead end. And how often do they do that, or how often would we ask them to do it? So in other words, we need to talk with them about this. There's gotta be a hotspot.
We do not directly supervise our sheriff's deputies. They know how to do their job, and they are managed by the sheriff, not by me or not by this council.
Let me ask you this, has the city attorney looked over this yet? Do we have a written review of this?
I don't know. We
these
never got
policies?
any written reviews of any of your ordinances either, so.
Well, there is a rule that says we can't get this done tonight if we don't have a written report from the attorney on this.
No, it does not say we have to have a written report. It just says that the attorney has to review it. He has reviewed this,
That's what I
yes.
just asked you.
And no, you asked for a written report if the attorney had a written report. I'm gonna tell you, our attorney has reviewed this.
Okay.
Okay.
What did he say?
Well, Mr. Smith, do you think I would be presenting it if he had a problem with it?
Well, just, you don't have anything in writing on it?
No, sir, no, I do not. No, I do not.
Really? Okay. Well, I'm glad we approved it. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Webb.
Just one little comment about our sheriff's department. We don't tell them what to do. We ask them what they will do for us.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
That'll work.
And
Right, Rob?
I will say they have been very,
I know.
very easy to work with, and I appreciate everything that y'all do.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Ms. Franson.
I'm speechless, no comment.
Mr. Shirey.
I don't have any comments either. I think all my questions have been answered that I've asked.
Okay. One of the things that was brought up was the survey.